Welcome back to another episode of STSL Off the Track. It is now week 20 of the Monster Truck season. Even though we didn't have almost any Monster Jam shows at all, we did have Cardiff, and it was just one. But we did have more other shows this last weekend, and a brand new unveiling of a new truck this last weekend in Indianapolis Motor Speedway during the IndyCar opening race at Indianapolis, which we have a lot to talk about that because apparently motorsports fans love to be at each other's throat for some reason. But other than that, tonight's guest, we'll introduce him off, starting off with Nafajan.
That's right, we're back at it again, and we got a big crew here tonight. And even though there wasn't a whole lot happening in Monster Jam, still a lot going on in the industry, so looking forward to diving into it.
And back with us here tonight is Dorzy.
Yes, sir. Just one Monster Jam show over the weekend, but we had quite an adventure watching the Power Rush breaking the world fastest speed ever, and good old Virginia Beach also happened.
Also with us here tonight is Jackinator.
Welcome. Whoa, what's up? What's up? I'm excited. Not that much to talk about, but of what there is to talk about, there were a lot of good moments.
And with us here tonight is Brett Knackley.
Absolutely thrilled to be here. One of the most unique weekends of all year in the monster truck industry. We had monster trucks going faster than they've ever gone before, and not slower, but slowed down by the sand. But it's been a great week. So we've got some things to talk about.
That was an awful line.
Usually we always
Shut
start off
up,
with
Jack.
sports. Usually we start off with sports world. Nafajan, what's been going on lately?
Yeah, there's been quite a few things going on in sports. Well, first of all, to start, Aaron Rodgers is still playing football. It was just announced a few days ago that he has signed another year-long deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So maybe at least for one more season, we'll get to see Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers reuniting for one last time. Will this lead to a Super Bowl? Probably not, but we'll see what they can do. Also going on in basketball, the NBA playoffs continues to develop as we are now into the beginning of the semifinals, or as many would say, the conference finals, as over on the west side, currently is game one between the OKC Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. At the end of the third, as of right now, the Spurs are leading 80 to 73. So the best of seven, whoever wins 4 out of 7 games will move on to the NBA Finals. Same goes for Game 1, which is going to be played tomorrow night between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks. Those are the two contenders on the east side of the NBA to make the NBA Finals. Now moving on into NASCAR. Yesterday was the NASCAR All-Star Race at Dover International Speedway. So many drivers and fans celebrating the best in the sport. And Denny Hamlin be everybody's favorite driver, winning this year's edition of the All-Star Race, but also going down to 5th place. 2nd place was Chase Briscoe. Number 3 was Eric Jones. Austin Dillon was in 4th place. And number 5, Connor Zilich was in 5th. So an interesting top 5. Congrats to Denny Hamlin on his win. Next up, NASCAR goes to the historic Charlotte Motor Speedway road course next week for the Coca-Cola 600. So really looking forward to that. Now I'll pass it off to the wrestling boys as well, as Monday Night Raw is happening tonight, and there's been quite a few events unfolding, such as Brock Lesnar returning in the Obafemi Open Challenge. What are you guys' reactions to that, or anything else relating to WWE this past week?
I was completely shocked. I was watching Raw right before we started the recording, and I come back to my room, and I see, lo and behold, Brock Lesnar is back since WrestleMania, and I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean he's back? He tricked all of us. Dorsey, I know you're not at home right now, but you just saw that a while ago. What did you think?
Yeah, we all got played, it seems, what is happening, and it's a bit confusing, but let's see what happens with Brock Lesnar, I guess.
Yeah, and then of course Clash in Italy is of course this upcoming Saturday. Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. I forgot the match stipulation was. I believe it was tribal rules, something like that. That is confirmed for Clash in Italy. A few others matches as well. I don't know the whole match card itself, but apparently we do have a PLE. No, not this Saturday. The next Saturday, I believe May 30th. We do have a Saturday night's main event this upcoming Saturday, as far as I know. Other than that, for wrestling, I believe that is it. Anything else? Oh yeah, this one is actually for Nafigen. So it was actually just revealed today that 2030 will play host. The new Nissan Stadium will play host for the Super Bowl that year. Nafigen, you're the one closest there. How do you feel of a Super Bowl being held in your hometown?
Well, it's definitely huge news for Music City in general because Nashville is one of those big marquee cities that you think of. Of course, Nashville's home to country music and several country music legends. And they haven't really had a whole lot in terms of the sports world. But with this new stadium coming in, there have been some discussions about Nashville potentially hosting a Super Bowl, especially since around down here in the South or just basically anywhere in the NFL, unless your stadium is in Florida or California,
Or Las Vegas?
NFL wants all their Super Bowls, yeah, or Las Vegas, or they want most of their Super Bowls to be held in dome stadiums. And with this one being a dome stadium, Nashville's looking to get a Super Bowl, and it's officially confirmed now, or I think it is. So it should be really cool. Probably Nashville's one and only opportunity to get a Super Bowl because Titans were never really any good to make it or win it. So this is a great opportunity for fellow Tennesseans to finally see the big game. And will I be going to it? It depends, especially since Super Bowl tickets have been rising. The prices have been rising increasingly over the past few years. And we'll just see what the NFL's best teams look like in 2030. But looking forward to seeing the Super Bowl actually being played in Nashville and in Tennessee for the first time.
Interesting indeed. Also, talk about Nafigen and Tennessee. He is a recent class of 2026 University of Tennessee graduate. So congrats to Nafigen on graduation. You deserve it, bro.
Thank you.
Any plans, for your future career?
Definitely looking to do something other than putting fries in the bag.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Currently looking at some news stations and whatnot, trying to work out some deals. But the future's bright. A lot of good opportunities.
Instead?
Nah, man, you can get your own refills, dog.
Ah.
Well,
yeah,
anyway,
thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this new upcoming journey that's coming up ahead.
Of course, big congrats to you. So other than that, we're going on to the Monster Truck world right after. Going into the shows we had this past weekend, starting off with Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live, Glow and Fire in Reading, Pennsylvania. Of course, the East Coast tour, Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live, just a normal gimmick in Fresno, California, and the Fresno Fairgrounds. Not a lot either, other than J-Rod went to that show. Santa Rosa, California, hosted the Monster X tour, of course, with Paul Craighead Barefoot, Boss Gator Brian Leach, Hammered Down, Andy Sevier, Rampage Josh Garrity, and Werewolf Stanley Hernandez. No Limits Monster Trucks. In Grants, New Mexico, it was also revealed that Geronimo Reincarnated is now owned by a new owner, and of course, driven by a different driver who semi-retired last year, apparently. Rob Poutre is behind the wheel, as well as Christian Poutre this last weekend. The Felon with Gabe Montoya, Misfit Josh Shakespeare, Monster Truck Bash in Dixon, Tennessee, Bad News Charles Fast, Brendan Duro, Godzilla Ryan Holman, Metal Monster Shane Grunseth, Rescue Racer Josh Holman, and Psychotic with Kane Waldron. Monster Trucks Maniac in Shawnee, Oklahoma, Crazy Heifer Cody Adickies, Fire Hazard Chris Davis, Ghost Rider, and Girl Power driven by both Johnny Davenport, and King Crunch with Dylan Findlay. Moneta, Virginia, Backdraft was the Wind Vineyards show. It's interesting. Local show, Backdraft Justin Perkins, Muddy Girl Camouflage Ann Brode, and Walking Tall with Tyler Wind II. Of course, Monster Truck Wars were in two different places, Conroe, Texas, and Queen Creek, Arizona. Same lineup as always, other than the Conroe, Texas. It had included Sheriff with Ricky Fowler behind the wheel. Next up is Next Level Insanity Tour, Idaho Falls, Idaho. I can't talk today, apparently. Idaho Falls, Idaho, with Dragon Slayer, Caden Morris, Farmageddon, Craig Christensen, Hillbilly, Tim Manchester, Midnight Panic, Leroy Latham, and Insanity Next Level Truck with David Tucker. Renegade Monster Trucks was in Franklin, Pennsylvania, with Hurricane Force, Stephen Thompson, Jurassic Attack, Preston Collins, Velociraptor, Preston Perez, Virginia Giant, Cliff Vowell, and War Wizard with RJ Turner. Navan, Ontario was where the Monster Trucks All Out was hosted, with 2 Team Scream trucks being up there. One of them, of course, didn't escape from the shark body, of course, that being Corey Romo's former chassis, which, of course, in Monster Jam is Megalodon, and in this show was RoboShark. It apparently cannot escape these shark bodies at all, with John Kohler behind the wheel this last weekend, as well as teammate Joe Foley and Axe bringing back the black body. Awesome body he brought up, unfortunately, for a very small show. Outfox with Jim Pigeon and T-Rex with Mike Worsley included in the lineup. Malicious Monster Truck Tour in Black Creek, British Columbia, with Elbows Up, JP Malbit, Identity Theft, Marvin Anderson, Mixed Up, Gavin Sell, Rockstar, Bill Payne, and Spitfire, Joe Briggs. Kokomo, Indiana, was hosting the 2X Monster Trucks Live Tour with Bounty Hunter, not driven by Jimmy Crean. Instead, it was Jeremiah Paris. Of course, you all know him as the driver of Brutal. Jekyll and Hyde, Corey Keinel. Roaring Rex, Darren Migas. Of course, former Night Tremendous driver. And, of course, the man is back. Dan the Man Dahlgren driving Sharkbot.
Yeah.
Of course, the one person not here for that announcement was Max. He was just here, bro. Full throttle Monster Trucks in Charleston, Illinois. This lineup is an interesting one, with American Scout Colton Kaiser, Bigfoot Roger Gager, playing hooky with JRC Sock, Relentless Chris Rogers, and Stomper Don Van Skjok. We'll talk about Monster Trucks in a racetrack here in a bit. As we saw a video of American Scout leading the, I believe, what was it, dirt car race in that same track? Or wherever?
Oh, yeah, late model, yeah.
Yeah, it was a late model race. Leading the pack before the race started. That actually was pretty cool. Next up is Butler, Indiana's show, the Indy International Museum of Monster Trucks. Of course, the Hall of Fame show in Butler. The lineup included American Outlaw Brandon Overmeyer, Bigfoot Thomas Borders, Blue Ox Jay Bozart, Country Strong Eric Howe. This one's new. One Bad Hombre Racer. Okay. Damon Mitchell and Ray Bestos with Jasmine Borders. Next up, Monster Truck Throwdown in Crystal, Michigan. Frontier Truck Parts with a new body. I guess it always gets a new one every year. Elliot Miller behind the wheel. Little Miss Madness, Athena Kozel, had an awesome crash just recently. Her won an annual crazy moment. Psycho Circus, Mason Rife. Rat Attack, Jacob Ladwig. Terminal Velocity, John Zimmer Jr. And Uproar, John Zimmer. Of course, we're going into the jam shows. Only one this weekend, and we're going to go just through that one first because we're saving the best one for last. So I'll go ahead and start off with the International Series in Cardiff, United Kingdom. Of course, the lineup included Earthshaker with Brandon Arthur driving Megalodon this July at World Finals, Ultrala Go Peter Nyman, Gravedigger Charlie Pocken, Megalodon Mike Waters Jr., Dalmatian driven by Colt Stevens, Sparkle Smash, Chelsea Van Cleef, Thunder Roars Geneva Keller, and Zombie with Joe Poppin' Bottles Dennis. So, the results we had for this past week, and I'm get to them here. I was not even there for some reason. As the jam page, there we go. So slow here. Come on, jam. All right, there we go. So we only
I
have.
can take care of it. Okay. I can do it if you want.
I got
just because I remember. Racing was Brandon Arthur in Earthshaker. Skills was Mike Vaughters in Megalodon. Freestyle was Chelsea Van Cleve in Sparkle Smash. And then getting his 5th overall in a row is Brandon Arthur in Earthshaker.
After this overall, what do you guys see in Brandon Arthur leading into World Finals this year? Fifth straight overall. How do you guys think it could be a big factor, hopefully, in this next upcoming season?
I think
I would
he
hope
could
so.
before the next season win. I could see him winning racing at the World Finals potentially. He definitely deserves a full-time stadium seat, but we'll see what opens up.
Yeah, I have to
And
second that. I mean, she has been dominating as of late on the international series. It's going to be exciting to see him come into World Finals, and yeah, I could see him really turning some heads.
Yeah,
yeah, I
on that.
definitely see if there's some open spots next season on a points tour, he should definitely be in it. If it's arenas or stadiums, it seems like he's doing really well in both. So I think he could be dominant in either one.
Yeah, I feel like this could be another Zach Garner situation in which Zach Garner, his first World Finals appearance, he went on to succeed and win World Finals racing. I don't know if that might be the same for Brandon Arthur. It could, but this can be another first-time guy in the main field who can really make some magic happen. So he's got some momentum heading in the World Finals, and that might help him whenever he's driving Megalodon in the Big Show.
I do want to add too, with Blake Granger out of the picture, international tour is going to be wide open if they do continue to run that as a tour. And I think, I mean, it would be him or Plotkin, but the way he's dominating right now, I think there's a very high chance that he is your next year's international champion, however they structure it.
Yeah, I agree with all of those statements there for Brandon Arthur. Other than that, that is the only show we had this past weekend as to in terms for Jam. I don't think we'll have another one for a little while. I know we do have Pittsburgh coming up pretty soon. And then, of course, World Finals in July, which we're almost about a month and a half away. But next up is this last show. Actually, before we move on to that, while we're still in the topic of Monster Jam, this last weekend, and I know we're just talking about it in the intro already, is the brand new debut of the Power Rush monster truck. Of course, which was debuted at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, with IndyCar being there. So, I'm going to pass this over to Brett. You were actually there. What more can you tell us about it?
I was. It was quite the experience. It was not only my first time seeing a monster truck break a world record, but also my first time seeing any sort of racing. I've never been to NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar, any of that before. So that was a really cool experience just separately to see IndyCar. Those things are really fast. But it was really cool how they did it. I was hearing from Camden, the way they did it is they actually had two Power Rush trucks there. They had the one on display, which was Camden's classroom truck. Well, it was on his classroom chassis. And then for the attempt, they used Colt Stevens' Thunder Roar's truck. And yeah, he broke the record, 103 miles an hour. It was on the backstretch, which I think caught a lot of people by surprise, including me. The Indy Speedway app said that it was going to be on the front stretch until like 15 minutes before when they announced it was on the back. So me and quite a few other people really ran across the speedway, which, if you don't know, it's a very, very big speedway. So yeah, but it was really fun. Camden, he was in first gear forever, but I think that was by design, and he broke the record. It was fun. He went fast, and great debut for the all new Power Rush monster truck coming
I
to you
can't
soon.
believe they wasted their time on this monster truck record thing instead of giving cars another chance to run the course.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like, yeah, that's the other thing I learned this weekend is that to put it very lightly and kindly, IndyCar fans are crying babies.
They do not like giant flying trucks.
It's just motorsports fans in general. It's like they're always at each other's throats, no matter the series. Even like F1 and NASCAR fans are always at each other's throats for some reason. They'll be like, "Oh, your car's always driving circles." They'll be like, "Yeah, y'all are like always crashing, like whatever, right?" They always like literally just talking smack to each other. IndyCar fans talking smack to Monster Truck. It's like, bro, it was just one thing, but it's also like, what can you do about it? Yeah. So yeah, 103 miles per hour was the new record set by Camden Murphy Power Rush. The previous record was Joe Sylvester Bad Habit, Relapse. Oh no, Gladiator. What else happened over there, Brett?
Well, I mean, first off, I want to say you're saying that motorsports fans complain a lot. Like, have you ever met a Monster Jam fan? Like, holy cow! But No, it was a great weekend, or at least a great day. I only went on Sunday, but really just fun all around. I don't think there was much more to it, quite frankly. It was Camden ran down. It was one attempt. There was no practice run or anything. One one attempt, and that was it. But it was pretty fun. It was a good experience all around. I enjoyed it.
Well, while we're on the subject of Monster Jam fans complaining a lot, how about that new collaboration they're doing for the World Finals this year?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. That Blippy thing is awesome. I'm a big Blippy guy myself.
Yeah, what an incredible way to bring back the Cadillac Escalade in Monster Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, very big indeed.
It's,
Very big
It's
indeed. Yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, go for it. Lane.
Go ahead.
Definitely needed a 37-year-old man in light blue and orange clothing to be on the side of a monster truck.
I mean, I get it from a business perspective because apparently Blippy is huge with kids. Obviously, that was I'm from before that time, but I mean,
That he is.
I understand from I understand from a business perspective. You know, you're getting more people into it, more collaboration, but I just hope it doesn't run in competition, which I don't think it will, to be quite honest with you. And if it's just a pit party display truck, I have no issue with it. Like, I mean, okay, so what? Like, the poor guy, I feel bad for the Blippy voice actor, honestly, or whatever he is, because people are going to mess with him all weekend. It's going to be pretty bad. But, oh, trust me, I will be getting a photo with Blippy, by the way. No,
Group
don't worry.
photo
That
with
is,
the
that
Blippy
is going to
truck.
happen. We can do a group photo, I think.
Let Blippy cook.
All right, so back into the
Go
subject
straight.
of Power Rush. Talk about the body itself. Brett, you're literally the only one here to see it out of everyone. What do you think on that body itself?
Oh, on the truck itself, I like it a lot. I would venture to say it might be the best new Feld IP post COVID. Really, really sharp. It looks a lot better in real life too. Not saying it looked bad online, but when I first saw it just online on the reveal, I was like, meh. But in real life, the colors really pop, especially under the sun. Um, the really sharp color of red is pretty detailed too. You know, obviously they have the spoiler. I don't know much IndyCar terminology, but they have the like spoiler, all the little wings on it, little fake exhaust pipe coming out the back of the body. So that's pretty cool. I know that they're also, this was kind of off the topic of the truck itself, but they're doing those new wheel inserts, and this was another beta test for those, and they held up well. But the truck's pretty good. Only one concern I'd have is the visibility. There are those two, like, I know it's fiberglass, but bars going right over the front of the windshield. I don't know how that affects visibility. I didn't ask Camden about it, but it could be an issue, but I doubt it, honestly, because he has real chassis bars in the same place. So who knows?
Yeah. They also usually look through like the plexiglass on the floor and stuff, so it shouldn't be too big of a problem.
I think something else to know is that it was officially announced today that Power Rush has officially been confirmed to debut competition-wise in Foxborough. So that's going to be cool to see in person.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't rain for the millionth time.
Yeah, no, really.
No more Classroom Crush for Camden. Totally gonna miss that.
See, I'm in the minority here. I actually really enjoyed Classroom as a truck. It just
I'm with you with that.
It popped. The colors were bright. I mean, I enjoyed the details of the little characters in the windows. I quite frankly enjoyed it. I'd probably put it on my top
Thank
3
you.
new Feld IPs post COVID. I'd put it right up there. I like it just about as much as Power Rush, but it's not an upgrade or a downgrade for me. It and Power Rush are about 50-50.
I agree.
Yeah, no, it's like for someone who just gave an opinion like this past weekend, or excuse me, last weekend, my brother went to his first ever Monster Jam show, and he said basically the same thing, that Classroom Crusher is honestly one of his favorites at that show because of all the characters in the window, and it really pops. So for someone who's never seen it or any of the trucks in person, that basically says a lot, because I kind of agree that Classroom Crusher, I think, is definitely one of the best they've done in recent years.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it continues to have a good legacy. It's got the one hell of a driver still behind the wheel, and Chucky Palka, and that kid can drive, and hopefully they let him stretch his legs sooner or later on bigger floors, and that would definitely allow him to stretch those legs a little bit more. But as of right now, it looks like it's going to be a single driver truck with said driver Chucky Palka. But it's interesting. It's definitely a unique situation with such a new truck. It's only 2 years old, and it's already been relegated to arenas with an independent driver. But I've heard it's done terrible with merch, which is probably the reason. But kind of makes me sad. I enjoy it much more than Stabilizer, Digatron, Thunder Roars. I mean, pretty much every other new Feld IP. So it's kind of sad to see.
Earthshaker's kind of, or Classroom Crusher's kind of going to go the Earthshaker route, just going down to one independent driver.
It's also sad because Earthshaker is one of my favorite Feld IPs. But
Hey, Brendan Arthur's bringing it back. He's been doing really good.
hell yeah,
Well,
he
on
is.
subject with Earthshaker, next year is the 10th anniversary of Earthshaker and Megalodon, so I like to imagine it's at least gonna have a driver.
Meg will probably get some 10th anniversary celebration because it's done so well, but I doubt they say anything about Earthshaker.
I mean,
No, watch it all be just Monster Jam and Gravedigger getting the celebration.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, that is
typically-
true.
Oh yeah, Gravedigger
Fair
too.
enough.
True. I mean,
Yeah,
typically,
45 years of Gravedigger.
apart from, I mean, Megalodon, I don't think it was gonna get a 10th anniversary celebration anyway, because Digger's in the way. Like
Yeah.
Eltro didn't get one for his 20th; it's only getting it now. Cinema Digger didn't get a 10th; it's getting its 15th only now as well. But yeah, Megalodon, I wouldn't be seeing it for like the next foreseeable future. Maybe in like the next 10 years, I would say.
Yeah.
If it's still
Well, I also would not expect too much celebration. I feel like a lot of fans are going to be complaining about this, and this I've not been told anything about this, but I do get the feeling that they're not going to go all out for the Gravedigger 45th. I mean, that's kind of a weird number. You know, it's not a clean one. Like 50th, you bet your butt that they're going to be, really going nuts for the 50th, but 45th, I don't know. That's just kind of, it's like 15th kind of. It's one of those anniversaries that doesn't really seem all that special.
I
At
mean,
least
then
do
again,
better.
the 35th anniversary for Digger was one of the best.
Encore wise, not body wise, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah.
At least have a better body for the 45th than they did for the 40th. Because
Hopefully.
that was a strange body, yeah.
Also, well, speaking of encore wise, I think you guys have already done a review episode of the selection show, but the fact
Yeah.
they're bringing back encores, that's pretty dope. I'm very happy about
I mean, that
that.
was announced a while ago, but I still have a feeling it will be just like stunts, but they'll be after the show instead of before. Like World Finals 21. That's kind of what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, but hopefully for I don't know, Stars and Stripes one to close out the weekend, I could see them maybe doing like simultaneous backflips or something.
I think it'll be like the Fire and Ice one.
Yeah, Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
Yep. Back onto Power Rush. I like this too. I really love the body. Really looks like a IndyCar / F1 car. I do agree with this. I actually think this IP would have cooked like probably 20 years ago as an F-150 body or a Silverado, or maybe even 10 as an F-150. But I like it how it is now. Same with Classroom Crusher. That body would have cooked like 20 years ago over like any other body that probably didn't make past 2009. Other than that, I really like this. How about you? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said my piece
Yeah, I
already
think we
on
all
it, but
did,
I really like it.
Yeah, what a way to debut a new truck too, with the speed record and this whole scheme. It fits Camden Murphy's personality, so this is indeed his full-time new ride. I can't wait to see what kind of a name Camden can give to it.
Somehow
I think
every
Camden.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it was a bit weird originally that Camden was the Classroom Crusher driver. I didn't think that fit him personally with me, but I'm glad that he's getting his own identity that literally fits him because that's his background racing. So it definitely fits him. The body looks awesome. I'm excited to see in competition in Foxborough coming up.
Yeah, for some reason, Camden always seems to be driving like and this is my opinion, but I feel like every truck that he's driven in permanently or full time has been pretty much 10 out of 10. I really like Pyrus Curse. I really like Bakugan. Classroom Crusher's been solid, and Power Rush is a good follow up to all that.
Oh yeah. On the subject of IPs and just looking at the lineups again, I feel like Jam missed something so obvious for international series. Obviously, Colt has become the fill-in for Blake in Dalmatian. Why couldn't they just have flipped Geneva and Colt? Like, I
I
mean,
did say this.
I've
you
been
I
did,
looking
you
said
at
did,
this
that was
before.
throwing me off the
yeah,
whole
like
show.
seems like such an obvious switch because Geneva's driven Dalmatian before. Colt obviously T-Roar is his full-time ride, but I mean it seems like it's pretty much as easy as switching seats. I know that Thunder Horse is on like I think an older chassis, but I mean I don't think there should be too much crossover, but who knows?
Yeah, I was watching Cardiff and I'd see Geneva and I think it was like racing or something, and I was like, I don't remember Colt sucking this bad. And then I remembered he's not even driving his own truck. It was throwing me off so much.
That's Feld Entertainment Monster Jam for you.
Well, Geneva's such an interesting case because I've seen like shows where she does where I'm like, dang, she's actually like really good. Like she's had some shows where she's been really good in racing, and then she does other
Yeah.
ones where she is just, I mean, terrible. I don't know how else to say it. So she's been very up and down so far, but
Well,
maybe
once
it's
again,
yeah.
she
Sorry.
just started.
Yeah.
She just started with this, and maybe like even Brandon Arthur was like terrible. Like when I saw him in Dragon when he filled in for Cody in Providence, he was really bad. But like, look at him now. Geneva, I could see talent in racing 100%. Like what you said, that's definitely seems to be her A game right there is racing because she straight out like beat Mikey Vaughters in a racing and almost beat Charlie Pock in like the same night. And yeah, it's definitely I could see her doing like a lot more.
Yeah, without a doubt. She's shown more raw talent than, quite frankly, most new drivers have, or at least, respectfully, most new female drivers have. But I don't know. She definitely has to work on the consistency a little bit, but I could see her doing well in the future.
All right, so I think that's all for Jam. As we're now moving on to the last show of the weekends, the best one. Saved it all best for last. That is, of course, the annual Monsters on the Beach show on the Virginia Beach oceanfront this last weekend, and they had a pretty solid lineup actually last weekend with Air Mel, Jordan Fisher, Blockhead, Darren Basil, Dirt Crew, Temizentes, aka Mullet, Dirt Crew Dozer, David Alford, Frostbite, Kylie Kent, the Haymaker, Chucky Pocken, running the red headlights. It's just genius at this point. Maximus with Jared Smith, Shaker, Ryan Disharoon, Smashosaurus, Travis Mowry, and Tommy Veriloni, and Tailgater Tim MF Jones. So, Dorsey, you wanted to say this show, but let's talk about the other events that happened before that. So, let's take us through it.
So yeah, I'm going to talk about Friday because Travis Mowry returns behind the wheel of Smashosaurus and he got to compete. Unfortunately, what I heard, I believe it's true that he hurt his back on one of the landings, and unfortunately that took him out for the rest of the weekend. And of course, the fill-in driver was Tommy, and like even like he didn't even compete Sunday. Like Smashosaurus wasn't even there at all. They just had it in pit party with no driver, and they just brought it back to the trailer. So Smashosaurus was basically out for Sunday. Uh, but yeah, I don't really know what happened Friday or Saturday, really. But besides that, I'm going to talk about my experience because I went on the Sunday show. And man, oh man, my expectations were high, and did they deliver? Because what a great independent show it was. This is why this was one of my bucket list shows for years to go. And it's great having family living only 50 minutes away from the show because I'm going to be here for the next week. And what a lineup to see. It was, so first off, they started racing. Well, how they do it is they do racing. The round one losers go into the best trick competition, and then the rest of course, the winners of round one face each other in the semis and then the finals. I'm not too sure how points work. I think racing gets 40 points, and then how many points you get scored from like the best trick and freestyle gets all combined with the weekend. So yeah, I would say like my show personally, the Sunday show was an 8 out of 10. Why it's down 2 points is because unfortunately Tim Jones blew a transmission in best trick, and he didn't even get to compete in best trick or freestyle. And this is my first time ever seeing Tailgater. So cue up that meme that I made of Black Pearl years ago. I put that right here for Tailgater. So that sucked, and unfortunately Chucky Bakken was going ham in freestyle, and he completely ripped up his like left side. I don't know what it was. I think it was like the axle and the tire, and I think it was like 5 hits, and he was done. So it was a shame to see that. So let's go over the results for Sunday. I don't know if anyone else has the results for the other 3 days, but I don't know what they are. Going into Sunday, there was a two-way tie for first between Ryan Dishrin and Shaker and Blockhead Darren Basil, with Chucky Pocket 15 points behind them. So there was still a battle going on for Sunday. Racing, Ryan Dishrin takes out Chucky Pocket in the haymaker. The best trick went to Blockhead Darren Basil, and freestyle went to Tim Mazentas and Dirt Crew. Man, when I thought they couldn't get air, could they get air with this sand sitting down in the bleachers? It was awesome to see. Great freestyle, and of course, best trick is a bit hard with the sand, so that was okay. And racing is always racing. It's always great to see racing. And yeah, no, I think they got the winner. I think Tim Mazentas definitely deserved the freestyle win. Everyone went hard with that last show. But at the end of the day, your 2026 King of the Beach champion for this year went to Ryan Dishroon in the Saigon Shaker. Congrats to him. It definitely sounded like he always wanted to get this, and he definitely deserved it. He was definitely like the crowd favorite for this year. And man, what a tough points it was, because Darren Basil was right there with him, and Chucky Pocket, for the first time ever being there, was right there with him as well. So this was an awesome show. I would totally go next year, depending on what the lineup is.
Yeah, it looked like an awesome show. Of course, they have Wildwood, I believe, later on to the year, in September, October, in the fall. Um, but yeah, the beach shows always are pretty much very iconic in the 50 years of the monster truck industry. And also, David Alfer, Too Tall, and Chucky, both are the first two to pull off stoppies in sand, which I believe is actually a first. Other than that,
I will say this: Darren Basil actually did a stoppie in freestyle
oh, he did. Oh, cool.
at the end of his freestyle run. It was really cool to see.
Also, I believe out of the predictions we had for last week's Virginia, I think I was the closest because Darren Basil also almost won the King of the Beach.
Yeah, he was second. Yeah, I think me and Max picked Too Tall, and I know like a few people here picked Chucky, and Chucky was right there, top three. So none of us picked Disherin.
No, no,
Congrats
not
to
at
him.
all. But other than that, anything else? We gotta go through the monster truck side of this stuff.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I don't know, but some other things, cool things that I was gonna mention real quick was it's cool seeing the Andersons there. Or I don't know if Ryan was there. I didn't see him, but all the Andersons were there watching the show as fans. It was great seeing them. Weston literally was in front of me watching it, and I didn't even know it was him the entire time until like halftime. I stood up and he turned around and recognized me and gave me a fist bump instead. So that was cool to see. And yeah, the goat Gage Bursey was there. Went over there. He said hi to me.
Gage
Gage
Bursey.
Gage
Let's
Bursey.
Gage
go.
Bursey.
I was like walking by. I was walking by and I heard hey, and I turned around. There he was at the Send It trailer. So that was cool to see. And yeah, and I got my tailgater monster machine that I've been wanting to get for a little while now.
Heck yeah. Well, I
Heck
was
yeah.
just gonna hop in and say one thing. I don't know if this is the first time they've done it. Honestly, I've not paid too much attention to the Virginia Beach show in previous years. But one thing that Jack and I were actually talking about is that this year they were doing quote unquote alternate trucks, which is kind of just a fancy way of saying two trucks miss each show. So I know, like in the first show, I think it was Frostbite and Airmail. Both were just
Yes.
like stayed back in the trailers. I don't know which ones did it for the other ones. Dorsey, you could probably tell me which two were the alternates for your show, but
The
I don't
the
know.
crazy thing is Smashosaurus didn't have a driver at all, so that was one of them. The rest of the 9 actually did compete.
Oh,
All
that's
9
cool.
of them did.
Well, you got one more than all the other shows, I guess. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of that personally. I know that from perspective of the drivers and crew guys, that's smart. Rest these trucks on a long 4-show weekend. But I'm not a fan of that. Just from a fan's perspective. I mean, can you imagine, like, let's say I drove there. Zach, how long was your drive? Or Dorsey, sorry.
Oh, 10 hours.
10 hours, yeah. Let's say you were a massive Chucky Plotkin fan. Let's say you went down,
Yep.
you're like, I want to see Chucky Plotkin. He's the reason I'm going. You go down there, he's a alternate driver for that show, meaning you don't see him at all. Like, that just seems so lame. I mean, if you're
I
gonna
agree
do
with that.
I feel like the proper way you should go about that is have on your website or wherever you buy the tickets where the lineup is listed, and then say, for the Friday show, these two are going to be the alternates. For the Saturday afternoon, like that just seems like the right way to go about it. Because if I'm a fan and I'm going to drive, like back when I lived in Virginia, it was like a 6-hour drive there. I never went, but if I went wanting to see Chucky Plotkin, which honestly he would be the reason I would go out of this lineup, and then he's just in the back the whole time as an alternate. That doesn't sit right with me. And not to mention points wise, I don't know if Disharoon was ever an alternate. I don't believe he was, but
No, he wasn't.
yeah, that can sure tip the scales in terms of who's king of the beach. If let's say, I don't know, here's a good joke. Kylie Kent was going to be in the running for king of the beach.
So,
You
are
know,
you ready for this?
yeah,
Ready for this? Darren Basil was an alternate driver Saturday afternoon.
really.
Yep, and
Well,
he was tied with Ryan on Sunday.
Well, then there you go. That's exactly my case in point. I plead my case. He would have won then, almost certainly, had he not been an alternate driver for one of the shows. So I mean that just also it doesn't make it. It kind of delegitimizes it as a points competition if you're gonna take out competitors for certain shows. So there's my
I,
one.
I'm gonna one. I'm
But
gonna 100% agree with that. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, so if they're doing this, so what 2 drivers have not been an alternate yet? And it was like Chucky, Ryan, David, and I'm like, oh god, I don't
yeah,
want to miss any of them. That's gonna suck.
and if like your alternate drivers for your show were like either Chucky and Ryan or Chucky and David or David and Ryan, like that
Yeah,
would just suck so much. So I'm glad that they
no,
only
100%.
Smashosaurus for you. And I don't know if that's because he was an alternate or even just, I don't know, maybe Tommy couldn't drive any other shows. But yeah, other than that, though, the shows just from a pure entertainment perspective looked amazing. Chucky doing a stoppie on the sand is probably, at least from what I've seen, the highlight of the weekend. But
Yeah,
That
one
that
of the
was a
alternative shows was Darren and Tim Jones, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. I would have
yeah,
hated if I was at that show. Even
yeah,
though my show, Tim Jones, like blew the transmission, best trick, he might as well would have been an alternate driver. He didn't compete besides one race pass. But
just
besides that,
just doesn't seem ethical as a promoter. And I
it
know
doesn't.
Z-Tour used to do that, and I mean Z-Tour never listed lineups anyway. But I went to one Z-Tour show. I mean, I could go on and on. That's a total aside, but essentially they did the same thing, and that just kind of sucks when you go and expect to see a lineup and then 2 of them are missing purposefully. I don't know. You just wish there was more direct communication from the promoter. But other than
Yeah,
that,
100%. They on the website it does say some drivers may be missing, so they do say that, but they don't say what drivers what day.
yeah, that's rough. And I mean, to be fair, like every single monster truck lineup has that little disclaimer: lineup can change, without notice. So I mean, yeah. Anyway, I'll get off that whining train.
I mean, y'all had some interesting points actually, because I was thinking to myself, well, I did say the beach shows are iconic in the last 50 years. This last one actually did, to my eyes at least, kind of look like a glorified toughest slash throwdown show. Uh, because like I didn't even know that they had the alternates, which just shortens the lineup a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to throw that in just because I thought about that. Um, yeah, that's all I got to say, really.
Yeah, I will say also, it seems like I don't know. I don't want to say beach shows have fallen off because this Virginia Beach one looked amazing. I would say the Wildwood one, from what I've seen, has really fallen off in the past couple of years, and I think it's probably because the Ratus
Yep.
bought it out. But I mean, that one used to be. I remember used to watch that one on like TMB and watch like the videos, and it was Corey Rummel would always win it, and Jim Kohler and the Pags, and it was like this great lineup. And now it's Stinger, War Wizard, like just this total like crappy lineup. I don't know. That
Yeah,
one.
Wildwood is ran by Renegade, I believe, and then Virginia Beach has been running like the last few years with Toughest, so that's why that show's always going to be awesome because
Oh.
Toughest knows how to put up shows.
Yeah, Toughest used to do the Charlotte back to school bash. Well, they still did up to the last year, and until I guess that show is now gone, which is too bad. But the Toughest is, I would venture to say, potentially the best independent promoter. I think it would be hard to argue otherwise. Maybe Throwdown, but I think the Toughest quality of shows is probably the best.
yeah,
Yep.
no
So
doubt.
I
Yeah.
guess I saw my first Toughest show.
Yeah, technically, like Toughest is actually really
Technically.
good. Like they have arguably better arena shows than Jam really can. Better than how okay, far by
I
far
would
better than
100%
Hot
agree with
Wheels,
that.
but like Monster Jam, it's like arguably better. Toughest is arguably better than Jam in terms of arena shows. Um, but yeah, Toughest is a really good product. I like just the one thing I wish they had more exposure out there. They run mostly just the West and of course the few East Coast shows under different names. But Dorsey pretty much did get to experience a Toughest show right there. Scott Heaton also was hosting.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I've never been to a Toughest branded show, but I've done the Charlotte show like 6 times now, I think. So it's interesting how they run it. I wish they just run it under the Toughest name. It would sure make their brand seem a lot bigger and a lot cooler if people actually knew that was Toughest. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the people who run Toughest and used to run the Charlotte show, they also used to run the Bristol show, whenever they had that 8 truck independent Bristol show. And then COVID hit, they lost their sponsors. And then Overdrive happened. Yeah, that was something.
Talk about
countless stories
Wildwood.
about Overdrive.
Talk about Wildwood too.
Oh, yeah.
I was, talk about Renegade being there. Yeah, it did fall off so much because explain how like 20 years ago you could have like Gravedigger and a different Monster Jam truck being there all together, like 2 or 3 Monster Jam trucks being there, lined up with Bigfoot in the same show. They're like, what happened?
Same thing with Virginia Beach. I mean, I remember as a kid watching. I think it was, I want to say Randy Brown, as recently as the
Yeah.
early 2010s, driving
Yep.
Gravedigger at Virginia Beach. I mean, that's pretty cool. So I know
Yeah,
they also
yeah,
have
the
like
last two.
Arturo. Yeah, so all sorts of Feld identities. I think I want to say Spider-Man or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
That's funny because I was literally just looking at the history of Virginia Beach today, and the last two shows with Gravedigger in it was 2010, 2011, and they were both with Randy Brown. So you were dead on with that.
Everyone's
not only-
remember when Gravedigger and Bigfoot would still race against each other. And
Not
then
only
Feld around
that-
2013 said, nope, not doing that.
In like the most random appearances too. They even did drag strip races there. Like, yeah, I remember that one. I think it was 2011. Don't remember which drag strip, but yeah, Digger and Barefoot squared up against one another. They had a race there. We used to be a proper country here.
Yeah, listen to this lineup from Virginia Beach 2011. Bad Habit Joe Sylvester, El Toro Loco Joey Parnell,
What?
Gravedigger Randy Brown, Gunslinger with Scott Hartsock, Mopar Magic with Morgan Kane, Stone Crusher with Steve Sims, and Tailgater with Doug Milkey. Yeah, we used to be a proper country.
Basically Monster Jam at the beach.
Yeah, that is an
Pretty much,
insane lineup.
That was a good lineup.
Got to be the best in Virginia Beach history. And then real ones also remember when Gary Porter and Gravedigger went to Wildwood up until I think 2010 or 2011.
I wish I was at Bristol for the only time Gravedigger went there, and that was 2011.
Yeah, I miss when certain trucks were making random appearances anywhere. That's why even now a lot of kids or even adults will be like, is that Gravedigger? Because 10, 20 years ago, 10 or 15 years ago, we had literally Gravedigger or like Spider-Man make a random appearance somewhere. And now it's just, I mean, I fully support the independents too, but it's like now you have Renegade doing Wildwood. Look at last year's Wildwood show. Not a good show at all. While this Virginia one was good, but it's also like it's missing something. Clearly missing something. Apart from Bigfoot, it's only just making Hot Wheels and like random small town shows. Denver included. Shade. But still, it's like, what happened to this industry?
Yeah, well, one other interesting thing to point out, this is kind of an insane poll. I didn't realize this. I'm just looking at Virginia Beach history on Wiki. I didn't realize Zach Garner competed at Virginia Beach in 2022. He's driving Whole Shot.
I do remember that.
Yeah, I remember it now, but I forgot about that until I see
'Cause
the.
that was the show that Chad got injured, wasn't it? Wasn't he there in Hook?
I think so. Yeah. Well, he's on the lineup, so I would assume so. But yeah, that was an insane one. I know Jamie Sullivan was also supposed to run that one, but they took her out to Jack Brown.
All right, so
What a savior.
what was that?
Jack Brown is such a savior.
All right, right.
We love
Yeah.
Jack Brown.
One forgets that Jack over here is like the #1 Jamie Sullivan hater. Based.
Well, anyway, I think that will be about it for Monster Truck shows. We gotta actually go through these shows we have this upcoming weekend for week 21.
We're not making predictions for
yeah.
Ottawa, Ontario Monster Spectacular.
Wait, what?
What about the
Well,
Memorial
Pete
Total
Allen is-
Off-Road Rally?
Yeah,
Jessica
I
Kramer
want
in
to
it.
predict the Monster Madness in Sault Ste. Marie, on however the hell you say that, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, or Kamloops, British Columbia. Just some great names. God bless Canada.
Oh my God, so many Canada
Oh, wait.
shows. Literally, okay, here I'm gonna name them off before I. Ontario, British Columbia, Ontario. Also Ontario. There's so many across this whole weekend as well. There's no way,
They're dying to be our 51st state, bro.
right? All right, so starting off with Sacramento, California, Monster X Tour. Of course, the lineup includes Paul Craighead, Barefoot, Brian Leash, Boss Gator, Hammer Downs, Andy Xavier, Rampage, Josh Garrity, and Werewolf, Stanley Hernandez. Phoenix City, Alabama, also Monster X Tour with Phelan Froggy, Jeremy Brady.
What a lineup!
What a lineup. 4 more TBA slots to be announced yet. Monster Trucks Maniac and Greenville,
Catch me
Texas.
at the Eat Alabama Motor Speedway. What a name, too. The Eat Alabama Motor Speedway.
What are they doing down there in Alabama, dog?
We're eating
Oh, we
Alabama.
know.
It's the South. What do you
I mean,
expect?
Yeah, dude, it's not a real place. Honestly, if I was president, give Alabama to Mexico, and then we take Canada.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Greenville, Texas, Monster Trucks Maniac with Crazy Heifer, Cody Adickies. Fire Hazard, Chris Davis, Johnny Davenport driving both Ghost Rider, Girl Power. Devil Finley, King Crunch, and Nitro Hornet with the TBA, maybe with King Crunch Legends, David Smith. Manassas, Virginia, for the Monster Truck Bash with Godzilla, Ryan Holman. Metal Monster, Shane Grunseth's Rescue Racer, Josh Holman, and a TBS slot for the 4th truck. Globe, Arizona.
Wait. I hate to
Yeah,
interrupt
that Godzilla truck has something.
Yeah, I hate to interrupt again, but we all just saw earlier today a clip of Godzilla with Ryan Holman doing this insane jump at what looked like some car crash. I'm still confused on the details because all the vibes and like the surrounding like posters and stuff gave the vibes of like a European show. So I don't really know what was going on with that, but clearly that truck is still in the US. So I don't know. I need to know a lot more details about that, but it looked very unsafe and but also very cool.
It got,
He
I mean,
almost
it
took
got
out a forklift.
massive air, but what was the forklift guy doing there?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like the Columbia show all over again.
Yeah, we almost had a tragedy
Oh.
like in a almost 2 week span. Almost a week span,
There
really.
goes the industry.
Next up,
Yeah,
well, I have to keep it going. I just have to cut it short, unfortunately.
go
Globe
for it.
Arizona No Limits Monster Trucks with the Finland Gabe Montoya, Geronimo Rob, and Christian Poutre, and Misfit Josh Shakespeare. Woodstock, Ontario Monster Trucks All Out with Axe, Joe Foley, Outfox, Jim Pigeon, Robo Shark, John Kohler, T-Rex, Mike Worsley, Kamloops, British Columbia. Why could I not say that for some reason? My lips were not working. Monster Madness with Anger Management, Eddie Como, Rat Nasty, Jesse Como, Sabotage, Crystal Carey, and Trainwreck, Dan Carey. Whoa, how do you even pronounce this? I need a Canadian to pronounce this. Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario? Someone's definitely
Unfortunately, the only Canadian I know we would not want on this podcast.
Yeah. They're gonna execute me anyway, for butchering that town's name. Monster Madness. Helion Dale Eve, Psychopath, Pat Paquette, Ran Nasty, Ryan Como, and a TBA 4th truck slot. Monster Spectacular, Kingston, Ontario, with Black Stallion, Mike Vaughters, Higher Education, Christy Hoyos. Mike Vaughters Jr. is back driving Overkill Evolution. Ethan Nuttall with Superfoot in a 5th TBA slot. Malicious Monster Truck Tour in Bremerton, Washington. Joe Briggs Elbows Up TBA with 4 and Identity Theft. Mixed Up Gavin Sell, Rockstar Bill Payne, and Spitfire Nick Jones. Memorial Total Off-Road Rally in Dresser, Wisconsin. Couldn't remember for a sec. With Against the Grain, Brad Shepard, Bigfoot, Josh Baumgartner. The Hall Bros will be here. Ram Demption, Kurt Kramer, and Reminator Mark Hall. 2X Monster Trucks Live Tour in Park City, Kansas. Jeremiah Paris is back driving Bounty Hunter. Corey Kino, Jacqueline Hyde. Roy and Rex with Mike the Nugent, and with Sharkbite with Dan Dumbman Dahlgren.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And last up, Ottawa, Ontario for Monster Spectacular and the Canadian Tire Center with Avenger Jim Kohler, Black Stallion Mike Vaughters, Higher Education Chris DeHoyos, Mayhem Chris Kohler, Overkill Evolution Mike Vaughters Jr., Rat Nasty Ryan Como, Superfoot Easton Nuttall. Literally, like the first half is a banger of a lineup. You got 2 teams screaming, those being Jim and Chris Kohler, and then of course the Vaughters. You literally got a duo of father and son duo. Who thought we would ever see this?
I mean, that's a pretty dope lineup. I forget, is that the big stadium show they've done?
I think this is that one.
That one is sick. So that is going to be the show of the weekend. I don't know if we want to do our predictions on that one, but that's going to be
I don't think we're going to get to because I have to cut this episode short. Do got to get it moving on. Live, you know.
First Kohler. There you go. See you next
Mikey
time.
Vaughters.
Chris Kohler, Mayhem, my idea.
Chris Kohler, Mayhem, Philadelphia World Finals.
Mayhem hero card.
I know Michael
Girlfriend,
Bart Sommer screaming at us like Ryan Como, Red Nasty. Anyway, that is the upcoming shows. A lot of Canadian shows for sure.
Ugh.
I
Canada,
know.
gross.
Canada. Anyway, it looks like a ton of fun shows. All the colors up in Canada for now. Well, meanwhile, as well as the Vaughters camp. Anyway, that will be it from us here. Don't forget to follow STSL Off the Track on Spotify and Instagram, as well as the main account for Steel Time Sports League, and subscribe to them on YouTube. Right now, they're on a hiatus for the STSL Beam League. I don't know exactly yet when. More details will come out soon. Also, there will be merch in the links down provided in descriptions below. But other than that, I believe that will be it from Week 20 for Nafigen, Dorzy, Jack, and Brett. I am Lane. And we'll see you guys next time for some more Monster Trucks.
Damn, man.